Hare Srinivasa. So second chapter, 21st verse. So all these verses, no, from 11 itself, they are focusing on the concept that Jiva is eternal and God is eternal and the independence of God. All these things he is focusing on and trying to give the correct knowledge about that Jiva's, identity or the way he is. So by giving that, then he can resolve Arjuna's issue about him feeling that he is killing someone. So he wants him to get clear about that. So until and unless he's clear about that doubt that he's having, that by engaging in the war, he might be killing people. So what is the meaning of killing? In that sense that he is thinking. Does he mean that he is engaged in some independent action of killing? Or is it really possible for him to kill the jiva? So in the number 19, they told us that there is that if a person thinks that the jiva is mortal, or if he thinks that the jiva is capable of independent action, then he is ignorant. That is what was told to us in the 19th verse. Then in the 20th verse, they said that this standing or the standpoint which has been expressed so far by Krishna is what is already there in the Upanishad, because that Upanishad is being quoted here. So commentators who have studied the Upanishads, they have brought this to light. And we already said that Upanishad means it's a part of the Veda only. And Veda is Apaurushya. So that knowledge which is contained in the Veda is a revelation, it is a truth. So that truth is being quoted here to enhance the statements that have been given here by Krishna. Even though Krishna is himself the supreme one, he never at all says that you just believe it because I'm telling. He has always, throughout the Gita, you can see many places where he says this has already been told by so and so to so and so in the times of yore, and it is already there in the Veda. These things he does say. So to show that knowledge is consistent throughout. It is not something which someone invented. This knowledge that we are talking about is about the Jiva and about God. So this verse, no, it is like a complement to that 19. Verse number 19 was talking about a ignorant person and his ignorance, what it could be. Here they are talking about the wise man. What will the wise man think or not think? That is what is told here with respect to the Jiva as well as God. That is how Madhva construes it. Like he has a Gita Bhashya and a Gita Tatparya, two texts for the same, two interpretations for the same text in verses which he feels that they need. So then he gives two interpretations. So here also there are two interpretations. One is as applied to the Jiva, another is as applied to God. So here what is being told here, we'll just look at that. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Veda Vinashinam Nityam य एनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ कं घातयति हन्तिकम्. Veda means knows. Avinashinam, we know vinash means destruction. Avinashinam means in not destructible. Not destructible in the sense by external sources. For the jiva, like for the body, we know that external sources can harm the body. Internally also, through its, like through diseases and other things, the body can suffer. But here we are not talking about that. We are talking about the jiva. Earlier only it was told that the Purana means the jiva which is moving from one pura to the other is not destructible, but Hanyamane Sharire means the Sharira is only getting destroyed. So here, no, the Jiva is not getting destroyed. No, so he's saying Jiva is indestructible by external means. That is one meaning of the verse we will see first as it applies to the Jiva. Nityam. So here he is saying it is eternal. Inherently, its nature itself is eternality. There was no time that it did not exist, is what we have been already told. So Nityam is telling you all those things together. Means inherently it is always there, eternal. So Yaha means whoever, Enam. Enam means about this topic whom we are talking of now is Jiva. So Enam is referring to the Jiva. So we say Jiva is not destructible by external causes. And it is inherently it is eternal only. It is unborn, Ajam, Avyayam. Avyayam means for the Jiva, when you talk about Avyayam, what do we mean? Means it means that he is not mutating. He does not change into any other thing. Or he does not change, the Jiva does not become into some other Jiva. The Jiva does not increase in capability or decrease in capability. It remains in the same way as it is. Katam, how? Saha Purusha, that person. Partha, O Arjuna, he says, come, whom can he think he can? Ghatayati means he can cause to kill, or Hanti means he fancies that he can kill. He kills. Come, whom, he says. So here you see that whom does he think he can cause to kill, or whom does he think he can kill? So here, you can see that there is a way that he is trying to bring the truth home by asking the question that a person, if he knows that the Jiva is indestructible and the Jiva is eternal and unborn and immutable, then how does he think that he can kill the Jiva? He says, whom does he think he is going to kill? Or whom does he think he can cause to kill? These are the two things he's saying here with respect to Jiva, and bringing home this point that a wise man, if he knows that the Jiva is so, I mean, with all these capabilities, that is, he is inherently is eternal only and he cannot be destroyed at all, the Jiva, then how will he think that that person can be killed? So this is applying to the Jiva. Jiva is something which is eternal, unborn, immutable, and is inherently, it is always existing. So this Jiva can never be killed only. That is the point. But to bring it clearly to the mind, he asks it as a question. If a person knows this, then how can he think like that? If you know one thing, this is the way people do, like, to teach something, expression, to ask, you ask whether, do you think this can happen? If you know that, what are the points which clearly tell you that this event cannot happen? If you know that, then you will tell definitely it cannot happen. So that's the same thing he is using here. If you know all these things, then you will not think that you can kill someone or you can cause someone to be killed. So these two things is what he is telling. And then he says, Acharya Madhva says, the same verse can be talked of when you think Enam refers to God. So in that sense, what would the meaning of this verse be? He's saying that a person who understands that God, in this word, that Avinashinam, there with respect to Jiva, we understood it as cannot be destroyed by external sources. That is the Jiva, no? But for God, what we say, for the same thing, it cannot, even the external body is not destroyed. For the Jiva, external body can be caused to be destroyed. But the Jiva, Paramatma, has no external body which can be destroyed. So undying is even with respect to body for God. Then Enam was Jiva in the previous instance. Now he says Enam means this supreme being who has no death even with respect to body. Ajam is unborn. Avyayam means there we took it as immutable. Now we take it as independent. Avyayam means he is independent. He has no type of nashantam. Avyayam means to have some lack is also, it is dependence, because you need to fill up that lack through something. So it becomes a dependence. But that who he is avyayam means he has no lack at all. So he is independent. So independent being, if a person knows that a supreme being exists who is completely independent, who is unborn, and who has no loss with respect to any type, body also, then such a person, like who knows this, Sahapurushaha means that person who knows this, how will he think, O Arjuna, that he can cause to kill someone or he can kill someone? Because if he knows that God is independent and God is the cause for everything, because independence qualifies him to be the cause for every other thing. He knows what is happening in everything. If you say that I am independent, or if anyone says that I am independent in certain one thing, one aspect also, then it shows that God is not independent. I mean, you conclude that God is not independent in that particular aspect, which is not true, because he is independent in all aspects of all people's lives and all things that ever existed, because they don't even exist without him. So if you understand, he says, if a person, a wise person is the person who is referred to here, no? So if the person understands God to be like this, then he would never think that he can be killed, that he can kill someone or he can cause someone to be killed. So these are the two meanings that are given in this verse, one with respect to Jiva and the other with respect to God. Both cases, the same thing is asked, that a wise man would never think that it is possible for him to kill another Jiva or to cause that Jiva to die. Both these things tell, one is that Jiva is inherently not capable of it, and God is the only independent doer. Second one is Jiva is inherently never destroyed, so there's no point in thinking that you can do it. These are the two things which we also saw in number 19, but in a different way. That was talking about the ignorant man. He only will think like this, he said. Now he says the wise man will not think like that. So both of these together, they make the point very, very firm in the reader's mind. So this teaching of the Gita is going in a very, very, you can say step by step, trying to cumulatively build the knowledge about the Jiva and the relationship of the Jiva with God also, very, very subtly also. Because here independence of God is brought out and then kept like that way. Then future, in a few more verses later, they will talk more about it. So we will be looking at that when it comes. Hare Krishna.